right, everybody. I got my mic on. I'm ready to go. I got my coffee. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot something. Hold on. I just remembered something. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with yours truly, Dawg Knight. And I just had to take my sweatshirt off. I'm too hot. Not because it's hot in where I live, because it's like 4 below zero, but for some reason the heat in my house kicked in, and I realized that for some reason our automatic thermostat went back into it went into a default mode, and it had it really hot in the house. So we had to reset everything again. So, hey, now I do have my coffee. And I do have my notes, even though I can't hear a thing because I don't have my headphones on. But that's okay. Good morning. Welcome, everybody. Good morning, Sarah. Good morning, Sean. Jason Burns. W.R. Costin. Interesting. Hello. You're new. At least I don't recognize the name. I'm glad you're here. And Tyler F., and I'm sure there's more people slowly flowing in. But what you can do, since I haven't done it yet, let's do this. Let's put the tweet out because I haven't done it yet. Looks like, though, Sarah, my fabulous moderator, has already put that out. So I'm just going to retweet what Sarah put out because that is how sometimes you just do things. So I'm going to retweet Sarah, and let's put that one in the chat. Y'all can retweet Sarah because that helps me a lot. Or what you can do, if you want to have some more fun in the chat, you can also go right down here, down there. If you're on a computer screen, there's an arrow down there that says share. Click the share button and share it wherever you participate on social media. And away we go. So I was kind of at a loss today. I was going to try to figure out what I was going to talk about. And my gosh, every day I talk about Jussie Smollett. And I will talk about Jussie Smollett today because we have to have our daily Jussie update. And I was going to actually go through a couple of videos and just do some reaction to those. But I got to thinking, something that I'm constantly hearing every time I hear pundits talk about this, or hear politicians talk about this, now that it has been revealed to be a hoax, is that they keep talking about the rise in hate crimes, that the hate crimes are just growing at this exponential rate and everything. And every time I hear that, I know what they're referencing. They're referencing the FBI statistics that say between 2016 and 2017, there was a 17% increase in the number of hate crimes reported. Now, every time they do that, I get pissed off because I know that that's really not a good figure to use, because the reporting of hate crimes to the FBI is a program that is fairly new. They didn't used to do that. It just towards the end of the Obama administration, the FBI started asking agencies to began accumulating numbers for hate crimes. They wanted to get an idea, how many bias type crimes there are. So each year, now not every agency participated in the beginning, but we do have more and more agencies participating. And so each year, when the more agencies that participate, you're going to guess that perhaps if more agencies are participating and they get new guidelines, each time they get new guidelines for reporting incidents, more crimes will be reported. And that is the case. So I wanted to go through a couple articles, excuse me, a couple articles about that. Now, both of them are from Reason, and then I'm going to go actually what the FBI themselves actually said. So this may be exciting to you, this may be boring to you, but I want to talk about it because it annoys the hell out of me every time I hear those words that, well, hate crimes are on the rise, implicating that hate crimes are on the rise since Donald Trump has become president. And, you know, whatever your thoughts on that. So let's go to the first article. This is from, these are, well, actually both articles are from Reason Magazine. I'm going to go ahead and put this on the screen here. Here's the name. Here, I'm going to make this bigger too, so it's easier to read for me, and maybe you can see it too. Oops, wrong one there. All right, let's do this. Stop letting people lie to you about hate crime and human trafficking spikes. Presidential candidates, TV pundits, and others keep trying to contextualize actor Jussie Smollett's false assault report by saying that even if this wasn't true, hate crimes are on the rise in America. Just look at the most recent FBI statistics, they say. Similarly, human trafficking tall tales, like this week's Uber sex trafficker that wasn't. I'm not sure what she's talking about there. Oh, I know what she's talking about. Anyway, tend to provoke comments about how even if this particular case isn't true, such crimes are a growing problem. Just look at the data, right? Just look at the data. That sounds familiar. The problem with both of these claims is simple. Our data sets keep expanding. We have higher numbers of incidents, but we also have more and more police agencies participating in the voluntary reporting system. In 2017, there were 1,050 more bias-based incident reports than the previous year, a 17% rise. Imagine this, though. There were also around 1,000 additional agencies reporting. As Robbie Suave wrote last fall, well, this means it's not obviously the case that hate crimes are more prevalent in 2017. Maybe the government just did a better job of counting them. Now, there's going to be something interesting when we talk about hate crimes, like especially Jussie Smollett's case. Remember, when I'm saying hate crimes, they always mention it in reference to this fake hate crime of Jussie Smollett. You think they would always be talking about violent hate crimes too, and that is not the case. And also, remember, it's hate crimes reported. So, for example, the young woman a couple of years ago who's reported a hate crime that she was yelled at by some MAGA hat wearing gentleman who tried to pull her hijab off. That is a hate crime reported. Now, what we found out about that hate crime reported is that hate crime reported was also a false report. It was a hoax, but it was still reported. I'm pretty sure that's still counted as a hate crime reported. It doesn't say hate crime adjudicated, hate crimes reported. So that's just an interesting thing. And I know that when we look at, for example, if you go on the Southern Poverty Law Center website where they talk about hate crimes, a lot of the crimes, I'm not saying a majority even, but a lot of the fake crimes that have been reported over the last 2 to 3 years are included in some of the ones that they talk about. So anyway, the question on the screen here from Sean, isn't every crime in theory a hate crime? I would say not necessarily. I think any violent crime is there's probably some sort of hate aspect to it. I'm sure there's some desperation crimes, people who steal, who do property crimes, things like that. Some of them are crimes of greed, for example, tax crimes. So not every crime is a hate crime, but I would say a good portion of violent crime or person-to-person crime, or whatever, personal crime, may have something to do with hate. By the way, who else showed up? Good morning, Chadwick Dupree. Good morning, Hate Camel. Good morning. Oh, that's it. That's it. Wow, this is weird. Now, my viewer thing doesn't show up here. That's interesting. So I don't even know how many people are watching, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. If you're here, hit the like button, and then we'll know by how many likes we get. All right, so let's move on. In 2016, there were 271 more incidents deemed hate crimes than in 2015, with 257 more law enforcement agency reporting. So interesting how in 2016 to 2015, 271 more incidents, 257 more law enforcement agencies reporting. So the law enforcement agencies that report are the ones who have a hate crime to report. So if there's 1,000 more hate crimes between 2017 than 2016, and you have approximately 1,000 more agencies reporting hate crimes from 2016 to 2017, there's your increase because of the agencies that are participating in the program. But she goes on to say there is no significant rise in hate crimes from 2004 and 2015 either. I don't know what that means. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't finish this point. As I pointed out, when those data came out, the number of hate crime classifications was higher in 2016 than in any of the 4 preceding years, but lower than in 2011 and significantly down from 2006 to 2008. There were also fewer victims in 2016, 7,615, down from 9,652 in 2006. So the number of hate crimes, now again, it may have to be due with reporting, but it's trending downward, not upward. So anyway, we saw no significant rise in hate crimes from 2004 and 2015 either. A Bureau of Justice Statistics study found that the rate of violent hate crime victimization in 2015 was not significantly different from the rate in 2004, and that this held true for violent hate crimes, both reported and unreported to police. So, but even these numbers are ambiguous. They represent police investigations opened. That's the point I made before. They represent police investigations opened, not necessarily incidents where a suspect was ever confirmed. So we could be dealing with false positives or, as I said, hoaxes. Good morning, Maniac Man. Let's see. Partly true, but some of the people do it out of perceived need because they can. Yeah, that's what I was saying as far as are all crimes hate crimes? No. Let's see. Hate crime statistics are also reported hate crimes, not detainment or prosecuted crimes. So it's not even a proof that all of them are actually true. Right. That's what I was saying. It obviously could include hoaxes. These aren't even, just the ones that are reported. It doesn't even mean that there are hate crimes. They could be fake. They could be just BS. Anyway. So the FBI has been collecting this goes into human trafficking, which is the same kind of thing. They just started in 2013 collecting human trafficking data. For a few years, these numbers too kept increasing as the growing number of agencies submitted the voluntary trafficking data to the feds. So as more and more agencies began participating in the program, usually if you're an agency, let's put it this way. Let's say you're an agency in Petaluma, Washington. I don't even know if there is a Petaluma, Washington, but I'm going to make this up. Let's say you're a law enforcement agent in Petaluma, Washington. And you've never, in the first 4 or 5 years of a program, reported a hate crime because you didn't participate in the program because you've never had a hate crime to add. Okay? But suddenly you have one crime that may look like a hate crime. So you say, okay, we're going to join the program and we're going to become one of these extra agencies that report hate crimes. So we're going to report now we can report our hate crimes. So we're one of the ones who are the increased number, and we're also the number of one of the increased agencies that are reporting our number. So you can't, even the stats themselves don't show that there's an actual increase in the number of crimes. It's just about what is being reported. So they referenced Robbie Schwab's article from November, and this is where he was talking about this. So this is from November. On Tuesday, the Federal Bureau of Investigation released hate crime data for last year. The main finding, which appears in the headlines of several news stories about it, was that hate crimes rose 17% from 2016 to 2017. Media and activist groups often blame hate crime spikes on President Trump's divisive rhetoric. The Southern Poverty Law Center has called this the Trump effect. Of course they do. Let me say something about the Southern Poverty Law Center, and I'm sure you might already know this. But the Southern Poverty Law Center had very, very noble beginnings. They really did. But in the last, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 years, their relevance relies, I'm sorry, did I just say relevance? Their relevance and revenue relies on continued issues of hate crimes and hate groups, and I don't want to classify them in the area of grievance grifters, but their funding relies on having a purpose. And so there's a little bit of a conflict of interest in them always deciding that they're going to classify groups as hate groups, or get really excited when they get statistics like this, that hate crimes rose 17% instead of hate crime reports have grown 17%. But let me go on. Media and activists often blame hate crime spikes on President Trump's divisive rhetoric. The Southern Poverty Law Center has called this the Trump effect and pointed to supposed surges in schoolyard bullying as evidence of such a trend. The latest FBI statistics are producing similar commentary. So it just talks about the time it reports. Let's see. So the report covers the first year of Donald Trump's time in the White House, writes Vox's German Lopez. He's been repeatedly criticized from his campaign to his presidential statements and tweets of stoking racist sentiment, particularly against immigrants and refugees. But as Lopez correctly notes elsewhere in his post, any talk of hate crime increases must be considered in light of a very critical detail. The overall number of law enforcement agencies reporting hate crime data has also increased greatly. Approximately 1,000 additional agencies contributed figures in 2017 than in 2016. This means it's not obviously the case that hate crimes are more prevalent in 2017. Maybe the government just did a better job of counting them. So, and then they go through the same numbers I just talked about earlier. Just a second here. Okay, I did. What's the question here? Chadwick, everything is Trump's fault. Yeah, I know. Stephen Slavery. Share the fall of Babylon was his fault. Yeah. Yep. So let's go look at the actual FBI report that they're referring to. So this is from the FBI. They have a little news place that they have here on the internet. And this is from November also. 2017 hate crime statistics release. Report shows more departments reporting hate crime statistics. The number of hate crime incidents reported to the FBI increased about 17% in 2017 compared with the previous year, according to Uniform Crime Reporting Programs, the annual hate crime statistics report released today. Law enforcement reported 7,175 hate crimes to UCR in 2017, up from 6,121 in 2016. Although the numbers increased last year, so did the number of law enforcement agencies reporting hate crime data, with approximately 1,000 additional agencies contributing information. The report, Hate Crime Statistics 2017, which I also have popped up. I think I've done that one already. Yeah, I have that sitting here, but we won't go through that too deeply, except for a couple of numbers I want you to see. Okay. Let's see. Includes hate crime information for last year broken down by location, offenders, bias types, and victims. According to the report, the most common bias categories in single bias incidents were race, ethnicity, ancestry, 59%, religion, 20%, and sexual orientation, 15.8%. In addition to these 7,106 single bias incidents reported last year. There were also 69 multiple bias hate crimes reported. And then, yeah, so let's get into a couple of the tables here, because this is kind of interesting too. And you always expect it to be, you expect things to be pretty one-sided. Now, there's a printable document. I'm not going to go to that. So here's just the highlights of the document. The Uniform Crime Reporting UCR program collects data about both single bias and multiple bias hate crimes. For each offense type reported, law enforcement must indicate at least one bias motivation. A single bias incident is defined as an incident in which one or more offense types are motivated by the same bias. As of 2013, a multiple bias incident is defined as an incident in which one or more offense types are motivated by two or more biases. In 2013, the FBI's UCR program initiated the collection of rape data under a revised definition within the summary reporting system. The term forcible was removed from the offense name, and the definition was changed to penetration, no matter how slight, of the vagina or anus with a body part or object, oral penetration by a sex organ of another person without consent of the victim. In 2016, the FBI director approved the recommendation to discontinue the reporting of rape data using the UCR legacy definition beginning in 2017. The offenses of fondling, incest, and statutory rape are included in the crimes against persons other category. So they kind of moved rape into a slightly different category. So, so an overview. In 2017, 16,149 law enforcement agencies participated in the hate crime statistics program. Of these agencies, 2,040 reported 7,175 hate crime incidents involving 8,437 offenses. Now, that's interesting because this is the program started out and there were no one reporting incidents. Then as each year goes on, more agencies jumped into it. So out of the 16,149 law enforcement agencies that do participate in the program, 2,040 reported all of the incidents they're talking about in this in the year 2017. Out of those I'm not sure, I can't guarantee that, but it's interesting that from 2016 to 2017, if only 2,000 some agencies reported, and there's 1,000 new agencies joining the program, that basically can account. I'm sure that accounts for your entire 17% increase. Or there could have been a decrease in the number of crimes, but an increase in reporting. You just don't know. That's why it makes it so hard to use this as, every day I hear it. I'm sick of freaking hearing it. Every day I hear, well, there's hate crimes are on the rise. No, they're not. They're really not. In fact, they're down big time from 10 years ago. So let's look at some of what the things they see, though. Of the 7,106 single bias incidents reported in 2017, revealed that 58% were motivated by race, ethnicity, ancestry bias, 22% were prompted by religious bias, 15.9% resulted from sexual orientation bias, 1.7% were motivated by gender identity bias. Interesting. 1.6% were prompted by disability bias. Now, that one I don't even understand. But there are hate crimes against people with disabilities. Who hates a disabled person? And so, I also see, reporting is also in the eye of the beholder. You do a crime against someone who's disabled. Is somebody, who's out there just hating people? Yeah, who's beating cripples? Good question, Sarah. Or punching a blind. Did you punch the blind person because they're blind? I just don't get it. And then 0.6%, 46 incidents, were motivated by gender bias. Now, I don't understand the difference between the 1.7% motivated by gender identity bias versus the 0.6% motivated by gender bias. I'm not really sure about, I don't know. I don't get it. Now, offenses by bias motivation within incidents. Of the 8,126 single bias hate crime offenses reported in the above incidents. Oh, wait, we already said this. Oh, I see. Bias within incidents. What does that mean? What's the difference between this and this? Anybody? 50. Oh. The numbers are almost identical, too. 59.5% stem from race, ethnicity bias. 20. I don't know the difference between these two tables. And what? Okay, wait a minute. 8,000. Oh, I see. There, I guess as far as victims. Okay, I'm going to skip that part of the table. So then we get into race ancestry bias based on Table 1. In 2017, law enforcement agencies reported that. Wait till I get to down lower. You'll see what I'm talking about as far as what types of crimes there are. But anyway, let's read this. In 2017, law enforcement agencies reported that 4,832 single bias hate crime. Oops, I just read that. Damn it. Where am I at here? I'm sorry. Reported that 4,832 single bias hate crime offenses were motivated by race, ethnicity, or ancestry. Of these offenses, 48.8% were motivated by anti-Black or African-American bias. 17.5% stemmed from anti-white bias. 10.9% were classified as anti-Hispanic or Latino bias. Now, you would think in the era of Trump that the anti-Hispanic or Latino bias would be skyrocketing because of the wall. But it's not. 48% against anti-Black African-American. And I got to tell you, well, when they break that down, I know that that's not all by white people either. A lot of that's by Hispanic people. But that's, especially if you're in California, there's a big issue between blacks and Hispanics in some areas of California. But I digress. Anyway, 5.8% were motivated by anti-American Indian or Alaska Native bias. Who hates Native Americans? Who hates? Maybe it's just me. I don't have a hateful bone in my body. I don't hate anybody. Well, okay. I don't. I guess I don't hate anybody. I'm trying to think of what dickheads I hate. But anyway, 3.1% from anti-Asian bias. 2.6% were classified as anti-Arab bias. 0.4%. 17 offenses. 17 offenses out of all of those were motivated by anti-Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander bias. There's somebody running around who really hates some Hawaiians, man. They're out there kicking some Hawaiians' asses. I don't know. And then the rest were other. I don't get it. Other. Okay, let's now go on to religious bias. Hate crimes motivated by religious bias. 1,679 offenses reported by law enforcement. A breakdown of the bias motivations of religious biased offenses showed 58% were anti-Jewish bias. The most hate crimes by far, as far based on religion, are anti-Jewish. I wonder how much percent that went up. 18.7% anti-Islamic or Muslim. 4.5% anti-Catholic. 3.2% anti-multiple religions, whatever that means. 2.4% anti-Protestant. 1.8% anti-other Christian. 1.4% anti-Sikh. 1.4% anti-Eastern Orthodox, Russian, Greek, or other. And then these all that are less than 1% for Mormon, Hindu, Jehovah's Witness, Buddhist, atheism, agnostic, etc. And anti-other, which probably includes Scientology or some crap like that. All right. Sexual orientation bias. 1,303 hate crime offenses based on sexual orientation. 58% were classified as anti-gay, 24.6% prompted by anti-lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender mixed group bias, 12.2% classified as anti-lesbian, 2.8% result of anti-heterosexual bias, 2.1% were classified as anti-bisexual bias. And how do you even know if someone's bisexual? Unless it's from the LGBT community. Because there is, I know that some people who consider themselves bisexual talk about the bias against bisexuals in the LGBT community. So go figure. This is interesting. Gender identity bias, 131 offenses out of 350 million people, 131. What was, and I'm gonna guess, because I hear this all the time, that a lot of them were trans women of color. But 130, so you hear, how much do you talk about, or do you hear constantly about all the hate crimes and bias against transgender people? So they got 131 out of, now granted, perhaps not all of them reported. I can give you that. But when you're looking at these numbers and you've got 118 for anti-transgender, 13 were anti-gender non-conforming. It's not, one is too many, but the drum is constantly beaten about how anti-transgender we are, how transphobic everybody is, and all these crimes against trans people. And like I said, one is too many. But the numbers are interesting. Disability, in fact, there's as many for trans people as there are for disability. 128 reported hate crime offenses committed based on disability bias. 93 offenses were classified as anti-mental disability. 35 were reported as anti-physical disability. You are some crazy effed up MFer if you have some kind of hate or whatever, hate crime against someone who's disabled. What the fuck? But then gender bias, 53 offenses of gender bias. Okay, so these are crimes. 28 were anti-female, 25 were anti-male by offense type. Okay, and then now this is the other one. Now listen to this. By offense type, of the 8,437 reported hate crime offenses in 2017, 27.6% were destruction, damage, vandalism, also known as property crimes. 27.1% were intimidation, bad words, or maybe a sign, the sign on the door at the college that turned out to be fake later. 20.7% were simple assault. 11.7% were aggravated assault. The remaining offenses included additional crimes against persons, property, and society. Now, I don't even know what that means. Against society. You mean like a fake hate crime? You like, will Jesse Smollett's we'd be classified as a hate crime against society? But so it's interesting, we're talking about, let's see, about 32% of all these hate crime reporters are actually physical crimes, assault style crimes, either simple assault or aggravated assault. When you compare that to the numbers of crimes overall, it's a pretty amazingly small percentage of overall crime. Again, one is too many, but it's amazing. Now, again, and not every Not every agency in the country participates in this program. Although I know that they've recently begun taking data from the Southern Poverty Law Center and from the ADL and from some of these activist non-governmental organizations. But it's still kind of interesting. So, and then they break down the crimes against persons, crimes against property. A majority of the 3,115 hate crime offenses that were crimes against property, 74% were acts of destruction, damage, or vandalism, and the remaining 25% consisted of robbery, burglary, larceny, theft, motor vehicle theft, arson, and other crimes. Now, I it's interesting because those crimes that there are, it's the latter of that group. Robbery, burglary, larceny, theft, motor vehicle theft, and arson. Arson I get as being a hate crime, or can be classified. How do you know a robbery or burglary was motivated by hate? It's a lot of it is, they still have to make a judgment call, trying to figure out what people think. Sometimes I'm sure it's obvious, but I'm sure a lot of these too. I mean, how do you determine what somebody's thinking when they do things? So kind of like, I think it was Sean who said earlier, are these, aren't all crimes some sort of hate crime? Maybe, maybe not. Anyway, so that's my take on that this morning. Let's get into a little Jussie update. I know you've just been dying to have the Jussie update today. So I was going through some interesting stories, and where's my favorite one of the day? Where is it? Here it is. Oh, okay. This is another one. I wanted to go through this USA Today article too, which is similar to what I've been already talking about. Sorry, guys. This cough is not going away. I might have to go see a doctor about this. Oh, by the way, good morning, Tarkata. I saw you there. I saw you come in, and I forgot to say hello. How are you? Good to see you in the chat. The other thing, I still haven't figured out what's going on here. I wanted to. This does not. My thing is not telling me how many people are watching. Now, this says 11. I don't know. Oh, by the way, right down here, share the stream, or you can tweet it out. I think I did here. Retweet Sarah's tweet. There. I think that's it. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, retweet that. I put it in the chat. Or just tell your friends. By the way, I'm wearing this is one of my favorite shirts. I can't with the dude Bob Ross. I have a couple of Bob Ross shirts that my son's given me. Okay, moving on. Let's get into this USA Today article that is similar to what I was talking about earlier. Hate crime hoaxes like Jussie Smollett's alleged attack are more common than you think. Now, this is interesting. This is there's a professor at, I'm trying to think where. I want to say it's Kentucky State University. This might be the same guy. Yep, it's Kentucky State University who wrote this. And he happens to be a person of color. In writing a book about hate crime hoaxes, I found more than 400. Such frauds damage good race relations. The hate attack on Empire star Jussie Smollett is now alleged to be a hoax. Yes, it's alleged to be a hoax. Okay. That shouldn't surprise anyone. Smollett's story was bizarre, bordering on the absurd. He claimed to have been attacked at 2 a.m. in Chicago by two men, in some early reports, wearing red MAGA hats, who called him that Empire. Yelled, "This is MAGA country." Oh, sorry. I read that incorrectly. Yelling, "This is MAGA country!" and poured bleach on him while putting a noose around his neck. The questions here are obvious. How many Trump supporters even exist in the downtown of a city that went 83% for Hillary Clinton? And how many of them watch Empire? How many guys looking for a fight carry rope and bottles of bleach around with them? Almost every normal citizen had questions like these about this incident, and we were justified in having them. Yes, but there are a lot of not normal people out there that went for it hook, line, and sinker. All right. That this case turned out to be a hoax shouldn't come as too big of a shock. A great many hate crime stories turn out to be hoaxes. Simply looking at what happened to the most widely reported hate crime stories of the last 4 to 5 years illustrates this. Not only the Smollett case, but also the Yasmin Seaweed, Air Force Academy, Eastern Michigan, Wisconsin Parkside, Keene College, Covington Catholic, and Hopewell Baptist Church burning, racial scandals all turned out to be fakes. And these cases are not isolated outliers. Doing research for a book, Hate Crime Hoax, I was able to easily put together a data set of 409 confirmed hate hoaxes. An overlapping but substantially different list of 348 hoaxes exists at fakehatecrimes.org. And researcher Laird Wilcox put together another list of at least 300 in his still contemporary book, Crying Wolf. To put these numbers in context, a little over 7,000 hate crimes were reported to the FBI in 2017. Perhaps 8 to 10% of these are widely reported enough to catch the eye of national researchers. Why do hoaxers hoax? In some cases, the motivation are tawdry and financial. Jussie Smollett allegedly wanted to make himself a sympathetic figure to boost his salary. However, the motivations of many hoaxes are honorable if misguided. In college campus hate hoax cases, Keene College, University of Chicago, Drake University, my alma mater, just had one this last year too. The individuals responsible almost invariably say that they staged incidents to call attention to real incidents of racist violence on campus. It's funny though, until you have the hoax, there isn't any. So that was my own aside, by the way. Certainly, the media giants that leap to publicize hate crime stories later revealed to be fakes, and the organizations that line up to defend their victims, the Southern Poverty Law Center, Black Lives Matter, CARE, think that they are providing a public service by fighting bigotry. Right. However, hate crime hoaxers are calling attention to a problem, quote unquote, that is a very small part of total crimes. There's very little brutally violent racism in the modern USA. There are less than 7,000 real hate crimes reported in a typical year. Interracial crime is quite rare. 84% of white murder victims and 93% of black murder victims are killed by criminals of their own race. And the person most likely to kill you is your ex-wife or husband. I'm glad I'm happily married after 26 years. When violent interracial crimes do occur, whites are at least as likely to be targets as other minorities. Simply put, Klansmen armed with nooses are not lurking on Chicago street corners. In this context, what hate hoaxers actually do is worsen generally good race relations and distract attention from real problems. As Chicago disgusted top cop, Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson pointed out yesterday, skilled police officers spent 4 weeks tracking down Smollett's imaginary attackers in a city that has seen 28 murders as of February 9th. Holy crap. That's in the last 16 days. And this is even then. When was this story from? This story is from the 22nd. So this is 3 days. So in 13 days, in the time that Jussie Smollett, well, there's another week there. But anyway, 13 days, 28 murders. That's amazing. That's amazing. according to the Chicago Tribune. We all, media and citizens alike, would be better served to focus on real issues like gun violence and the opioid epidemic than on fairy tales like Jesse's. And then Wilfred Riley is Associate Professor of Political Science at Kentucky State University, a historically black institution located in Frankfurt. He's the author of the upcoming book, Hate Crime Hoax. I wonder, he's at I was going to say, okay, is this just some white dude trying to deflect from the problem of hate crimes? But then you look up Professor Riley, and he's a brother. So he's a brother teaching at an HBCU, historically black college and university. So there you go. Don't mess with that nonsense. Yeah, like I said, it's such a small portion of crimes. Not that, again, one is too many. What am I doing here? That was my boomer moment of the day. That was our boomer moment of the day. Brought to you by Dawg Knight. Oh, there's a rabbit in my yard. Okay, distraction. So anyway, that's that for today. So let's move on. Now, I said I was going to actually give you a Jussie Smollett update. Now, oh, wait a minute. Also, someone who sent me something. Hang on. Let me check out something real quick. Camel. Oh, there's two of these. Hey, Camel, I appreciate you sending me this because I did want to go through this one today. Because there's two little Jussie updates I have today. One of them is, Terrence, why? Terrence Howard expresses support for Jussie Smollett after felony charge. We love the hell out of you. Well, you know what? I can understand. They've been working closely together for a while, and they're, I'm sure they're friends, but I just hope that this doesn't mean, yeah, Campbell, that's what you put in the tweet too. So we're just going to go through this. I hope, is this very long? Yeah, good, it's not. I'm going to read it because it's not that long. Terrence Howard has Jussie Smollett's back. Days after Smollett was arrested on felony disorderly conduct charge for allegedly filing a false police report and then dropped from the final 2 episodes of Empire season, Howard took to Instagram to express his support for his on-screen son. All your little homies got you. We love the hell out of you, Howard says. Howard, who plays Lucius Lyons on the Fox series, wrote on Saturday. The video featured Smollett playing with the actor's son, Hero, while on a private plane. He's such a sweet baby, Smollett can be heard saying in the clip as the little one cozies up to him. Do you want to hear that? Let's listen to Jussie Smollett. Just listen to this charming young man.
How many teeth does he have?
He's got these two and these top ones pushing through now.
Precious. How long is this thing? This can't be more than a minute.
Like, let me get you my bread.
He's like playing with his little brother. Okay, enough of this crap. I can't do it. Taye Diggs appeared to support Howard's post, leaving a comment, "Atta boy." Gabrielle Sadib also left 3 hearts. Although Gabrielle Sadib, who's on that show also, she's changed her tune completely. She's done with our good friend Jussie. She's just wants nothing. She's deleted everything of support that she's posted about him, and I think she's had her fill. On Friday, executive producers of the Fox show released a new statement explaining their rationale for removing Smollett's role of Jamal from the remainder of the season. The statement comes one day after the actor turned himself into authorities following his felony charge for disorderly conduct for allegedly filing a false police report in which he claimed he was the victim of a hate crime on January 29th, and he still maintains his innocence. The events of the past few weeks have been incredibly emotional for all of us. Jesse has been an important member of our Empire family for the past 5 years, and we care about him deeply, the statement reads. While these allegations are very disturbing, we are placing our trust in the legal system as the process plays out. We are also aware of the effects of this process on the cast and crew members who work on our show, and to avoid further disruption on the set, we have decided to remove the role of Jamal from the final 2 episodes of the season, the statement adds. And as ET Entertainment Tonight previously reported, Smollett surrendered on Thursday for allegedly filing a false police report, and if convicted, he faces up to 3 years in prison. I hope they throw the book at him. Hello, his kitten, I see ya. Like any other citizen, Mr. Smollett enjoys the presumption of innocence, particularly when there has been an investigation like this one where information, both true and false, has been repeatedly leaked. Smollett lawyers told Todd Pugh and Victor Anderson told Entertainment Tonight. You know what? You make me want to swear. Let me read that again, just the part that really pisses me off. Mr. Smollett enjoys the presumption of innocence, particularly where there has been an investigation like this one, where information, both true and false, has been repeatedly leaked. Who, perchance, has leaked the most false information about this case? I wonder. Given these circumstances, we intend to concoct. Now there's a Freudian slip for you. I said we intend to concoct, although their words are conduct, a thorough investigation and to mount aggressive defense. Go straight to hell. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Below me. So that's just the update number 1. Now here's the even more maddening. I just found this morning from The Guardian. Y'all y'all are pissing me off. Y'all are pissing me off. By the way, I'm trying to figure out. Oh, there's my 20-minute warning alarm. Turn that off. By the way, I don't know where everyone is today. I'm hoping that my notifications went out. By the way, if you're here and you're not subscribed, it's very important that down below here, there's a little blue thing down here or something down here below where I chat or talk or whatever down there, where you can subscribe and make sure you hit the bell so you get notifications. Also, you can follow me on Twitter, which is right over here at Dawg Knight. You can also follow me on Instagram, although I don't really put much about this on Instagram, but Twitter is probably more important. So follow me there. And then just also hit that share button. Hit the share and the like. Look, I got 11 people, 11 likes. I'm happy with that. Okay, so I'm glad you all are here, and I'm glad you're enjoying the show. But remember, likes no longer automatically share if you're on Twitter or whatever. They don't automatically share. So sharing is also very good. That's a big thing for me. All right, let's keep going here. So the lesson that some people learn from incidents like this don't always necessarily match, how would you put it? Reality. This article from this is an opinion. Now it's an opinion piece. They say it's an opinion piece. But it's a head scratcher. Jussie Smollett's story shows how intolerant of victims we really are. Let that sink in. Jussie Smollett's story shows how intolerant of victims we really are. The media reaction to the actor's alleged fabrication shows how victimhood culture is used as a means to attack minorities. Oh my God. I'm glad I don't have any firearms in the house. One of the many moral panics of our time is that of victimhood culture. Apparently, we are too indulgent of those who can claim victim status, a state especially rife among students. The story goes that this has turned us all into eternal babies, coddling us, protecting us from microaggressions, and signaling an erosion of individual grit and autonomy in favor of mimsy whining. Okay, let's see where we're going here. In an effort to invert unfair power structures, some claim victimhood culture has only succeeded in replacing them with different unfair power structures, where those who used to be at the bottom now hold the whip hand over those who used to be at the top. Oh, how clever, using the whip hand. Women terrify men who are forever fearful, an offhand remark will become a harassment lawsuit. Okay. And racial minorities secure jobs at the expense of white people the moment their unusual names are spotted on a CV. And in the United States, it's called a resume. No. Okay, just stop. The writer Lionel Shriver called it privileging the disadvantaged. Shriver also told BBC Radio 4 that white men in the UK are at the bottom of the rung of society because they are considered to be the most powerful demographic. Reader, I can reveal they are. Victimhood culture advocates engage in a lot of doublethink. Okay, they do. I've tried to find this victimhood culture in real life and am sad to report that its dividends are elusive. In my experience, the most extreme manifestations is people being mildly annoying on social media by constantly prefacing their thoughts by alluding to their race, gender, or sexual orientation, or assuming that people are being rude to them because of their identity. So where this article is going, that I'm just going to call bullshit now, there is absolutely a value that people see in victimhood. Otherwise, why would so many people fabricate hoaxes where they're the victim? There must be some value in it. There must be some power in it. It's the real victims who get hurt by this. It's real victims are worthy of our concern. People manipulate that to be worthy of our concern. But I'm going to keep reading. How long? Is this super long? I don't even know. I didn't read it. Oh, gosh. I'll just go back. I've tried to find this victim of culture in real life, and I'm sad to report that its dividends are elusive. In my experience, the most extreme manifestation is people being mildly annoying on social media and constantly prefacing their thoughts by alluding to their race, gender, and sexual orientation, or assuming that people are being rude to them because of their identity. But despite the rarity of victim culture in the wild, when it emerged that American actor Jussie Smollett may have fabricated a racist and homophobic attack on himself in Chicago, it was immediately obvious to many why they thought he did it. It wasn't because he was a creep or a sociopath or an attention seeker. It was because of victimhood culture. Well, if he was trying to get more money out of the Empire franchise by being a victim and thus raising his notoriety, and that's exactly what he did. Victimhood culture is one of those phenomena, like political correctness gone mad, that isn't a real thing. That's interesting. but has nevertheless been adopted by the right and the left and made mainstream with little questioning as to why. It wasn't just Fox News and Trump supporters who relished the opportunity to point out that Smollett's actions were a manifestation of this fetish for the victim. African-American academic John Werder writes in The Atlantic, which that's a great article, by the way. Maybe I'll put that in. I'm not going to read that on here, but I'll maybe put it in the chat below, or not the chat, the description. John McWhorter writes in The Atlantic that the Smollett story reveals something else modern America is about: victimhood chic. Future historians and anthropologists will find this aspect of early 21st century America peculiar, intriguing, and sad. In the National Review, Andy No goes further to claim that because of the mainstream of academia's victimhood culture, we are now in a place where we place more value on being a victim than being heroic, charitable, or even kind. CNN hosted a talk show entitled Jesse Smollett and the Victim Culture. Good. They should have. I haven't seen that one either. It's a good resource for some of this stuff. Oh, it's not on there. I'll find it later. Anyway, where was I? The reaction is, but now, I know this is about to go off the rails. The reaction is in itself a tell. The eagerness to extrapolate from one incident the eagerness to extrapolate from one incident. This is obviously someone not paying attention. And make sweeping statements about how society is just too nice to victims. That's called a straw man. And therefore encourages such fakery, shows that society isn't actually predisposed to being nice to victims at all. No, we are very generous to victims. We open GoFundMe accounts where they make $100,000 or what's her name from the Supreme Court thing got. And we open GoFundMe. Victims get GoFundMe accounts. Oh my God. And praise and notoriety, and they were interviewed on TV by Robin Roberts. It is a miserly conditional sympathy that is withdrawn the moment victims let us down. Oh, you did not just write that, you miserable human being. It is a miserly conditional sympathy that is withdrawn the moment victims let us down. All the Smollett case has done is give people an excuse to default to their comfort zone, to believe that all allegations of homophobia and racism are suspect. No, it doesn't. But it does screw it. Oh my God. No, it does not do that. But when you have a case where it's so freaking obvious that it wasn't true and everyone still jumped all over it because they wanted to make political points. Sorry, did I go off on a tangent there? Yes, I did. Probably overblown or made up. Some are not. Some use their identity to try to make points. And they're always rewarded, unless it turns out to not be true. While the Smollett story developed, two other stories broke. The Southern Poverty Law Center reported that there were now more than 1,000 hate groups operational in the U.S. And the FBI foiled a plot by a white nationalist to murder Democratic Party politicians. At one point, CNN cut away from live coverage of an FBI press conference about this to rerun old footage of Smollett news. Remember when I said that they were going to bring up that white nationalist information and try to make it as a distraction? Now, that guy's an asshat, and we'll find out more about him later because we don't have a lot of information other than the indictment that they have. But yes, one. out of 250 million people. And the Southern Poverty Law Center reported there are now more than 1,000 hate groups. Interesting, because a lot of these hate groups that they're reporting on, I find that report. I'm going to find that. We're going to go through that with a fine-tuned comb one of these days. Some of them are just, for example, if you belong to a group that is critical of illegal immigration, you're probably on the Southern Poverty Law Center's hate group list. If you are part of a group, and I've already seen this, there's some groups that are anti-abortion groups. Because they are an anti-abortion group, they are on the Southern Poverty Law Center's list of hate groups. Okay, they list, and you know, some of they're just their definition of hate group has become looser and looser. So, and again, the Southern Poverty Law Center, their revenue is dependent on being relevant. So they're going to define as many people as hate groups. They're going to define as many things as hate crimes as they can because they need it to be relevant. Back to the article. This insistence on the centrality of victimhood culture is symptomatic of a society that is intolerant of victims. Nobody's intolerant of victims. Real victims deserve our concern. Waiting to pounce, to roll eyes, scoff, and ideally, but alas rarely, find a gotcha moment to prove that victim narratives are suspect. A focus on the minutiae of safe spaces and trigger warnings, which the BBC has put before violent dramas for decades, is an overreaction to the baby steps societies are taking to recognize grievances that were until recently considered trivial and should be considered trivial in my personal and worldly opinion. Smollett is not the hill I'm going to die on, but his is a story. If one steps back and removes it from tribal infighting, that is ubiquitous. It even has its own cautionary Aesop's fable on the dangers of crying wolf. How many people do you know in your own personal and professional lives whom you suspect have embellished, exaggerated, or made up illnesses or inflated relationship troubles? How awkward is it for you to point this out without sounding like a jerk when it seems that everyone else is lapping it up? Earlier this month, the New Yorker ran an entire profile on the jaw-dropping lies of writer Dan Mallory, who managed to elicit support and indulgence from academic supervisors, employers, and friends by faking several terminal illnesses and inventing the death of his mother and the suicide of his brother. But still, people were too cautious of appearing churlish to accuse him of lying. There's even a pathological manifestation of the condition called facetious victimization, of which Munchausen syndrome is an extreme version. The only pattern here is one of people taking advantage of natural sympathetic responses to adversity because they are mendacious or damaged. It's just rare that they are high-profile celebrities. Smollett is an aberration. Victimhood culture is the real hoax, except if you count all of the hoaxes over the last several years, you jackass. All right. Enough of that. We've got a few minutes. Let's do some Twitter trends and get the heck out of here, because I know everyone's got things to do, and, this is when I have to end the show. Good morning, Vortex. I didn't see you, by the way. You must have just gotten here. Who else? Anyone else that's new? Okay, so, Tyler F. I don't think I said hi to you either. So, good morning. Good morning, everybody. All right, I'm going to close some tabs. Let's just do some Twitter trends, because I can't take this anymore. I'm going to keep that one for tomorrow. Yeah, we'll go to Ace. Nope. Let's do Twitter trends. Yay! Twitter trends. Good God. Well, Monday. It's Monday. It is Monday. Monday motivation. What's motivating on a Monday? Boy, I tell you what, BitTube and Airtime is Johnny on the spot. They're up at the top of these Monday motivations every week. But let's see. Oh, great. Taking the stage with New York Governor Cuomo as he signs New York State gun safety legislation. Moms demand every town Shannon Watts. Oh, yippee. You know what? Your gun safety legislation is not going to end gun violence. Sorry. But you know what? I don't live in New York. It's coming. It's coming to a state near you, and it's probably gonna be ruled unconstitutional in a state near you. Come on, give me one good Monday motivation somewhere here. I see lots of nice, pretty animals. Oh, here we go. A healthy list. 1, get more sleep. 2, make time to exercise. 3, drink more water. 4, eat less sugar. 5, stay teachable. 6, forgive first. 7, remove clutter. 8, more random acts of kindness. 9, do not respond to negativity. 10, spend quality time with loved ones. 11, show gratitude. Okay, that's a good Monday motivation. All right, what's the number 2 trend on Twitter? Oscars in 5 words. Okay, so I don't know if you watched the Oscars because I don't know anybody who did, but there's always a chance that one person in my chat watched 4 or 5 minutes. The Oscar in 5 words. The top one is Another One Bites the Dust. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, because I guess did he get? I don't know. That's a weird little picture there because the dude who played Freddie Mercury is sitting behind someone with the Oscars falling down. I don't know what that means. Fake like other award shows, sure. Didn't watch it, so yeah, that's good. Yep. Oh man, Steven Crowder was doing a live Oscars show, and they got taken down off of YouTube. I think they ended up having to do it on what is it? They did it on Facebook Live and had it on Twitter Live or whatever, but their live Oscar show got got screwed. Superheroes ruled over the night. Okay, sort of. Spike Lee looks like Waluigi. Okay, is Waluigi like is that one of the? I don't even know what that means. Waluigi, like a purple Luigi, like from the. What are those guys? Super Smash Brothers? No, What are those guys called? Anyway, oh God! Straight washed films win big. Did he win the Oscar for Best Actor? Anyone know? Did he win? I thought he looked incredible as Freddie Mercury. Mario Brothers, yeah. Evil Mario Brothers character. Okay. Did he win? I don't even know who won. I know that the only one I know that won was the movie that everyone was pissed off won. Green something about the black musician and his white racist driver or whatever. Kind of reverse of Driving Miss Daisy. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I just read about it. And everyone was pissed off because a bunch of white men were the last ones on the stage. And so everyone's going to be... And Spike Lee was super pissed. Like I guess they were showing pictures of him while this was happening. And he did a little Kanye moment or something. I missed it. I'm going to have to go check it out somewhere. Because I don't watch the Oscars because I think it's a crap show. And I don't care about a bunch of people. It's funny. You'd think Bernie Sanders would have something to say about the Oscars because people walking around in $100,000 suits and dresses and stuff, all congratulating each other, and boy, could their money be distributed somewhere else? But anyway. Well, cool. That guy won for portraying Freddie Mercury. The only thing I've seen of that movie, I haven't seen the movie, but I've seen the side-by-side comparison of Queen's Live Aid performance with this guy doing the same performance, and he is just spot freaking on. Just an amazing recreation of that particular scene at Live Aid. So I thought that was really cool. But anyway, you're going to hear people bitching about the Oscars because they want I know Black Panther won some awards, and I know that Spike Lee won some award, and Best Adapted Screenplay, I think. And I know that, I know a few of the things that happened, but ain't going to make anyone happy. Regina Bell. You know what? I think Regina Bell won an Oscar. I think that's her name, Regina Bell. She's a really good actress who's been really good in a lot of movies that were good. And I think it's just fantastic that she has won an Oscar. She's a great actress. She's been around for 20 some years, and has always been just really good at whatever she's been doing. So good for her. Regina King, thank you, not Regina Bell. Regina King. I think she's fantastic. She's a great actress. So good for her. She's somebody I like. I'm not a big fan of Spike Lee. Some of his movies are good, and some of them are just okay. But he's a pretty cool director. But I just don't care for Spike. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm rambling about the Oscars, some show that I didn't even frickin' watch. But I've just been reading stories all morning. But hey, look, Marilyn Monroe, James Mansfield. That's some classic bitches watching dresses, not Oscars. Oh, that's Oscar in 5 words. Any other goods? Rigged. Oscar in 5 words. This dude. Okay. I guess he's making a statement. Good for him. This is a nice dress. Yeah, okay, that's Oscar in 5. Okay, enough of Oscar in 5 words. Oh, as we were speaking, apparently the trends have changed. Harry Reid is now trending over Oscar in 5 words. Let's find out. Former Senator Harry, he got thrown out, is working hard to put a good spin on his failed career. He led through lies and deceptions only to be replaced by another beauty crying Chuck Schumer. Some things just never change. What did Harry Reid do this morning? Apparently Harry Reid wishes for George W. Bush again. Harry Reid was just, what would I describe Harry Reid? He was kind of a ass, but in a political way. He was cutthroat MFer. Whether you like him or hate him, he's cutthroat man. Anyway, apparently that's what this Harry Reid trending is about. Harry Reid wishes for George W. Bush again every day. Yeah, I'm sure you do, Harry. I'm sure you do. Don't fall for this. Harry Reid is just trying to use Bush to attack modern Republicans. Some things Harry said about George W. Bush. He's a liar. Guy is a loser. He betrayed Nevada and betrayed the country. The Bush years will be known as a rare, even dark time. Yeah, him praising George W. Bush is a joke. Anyway, enough about Harry Reid. What's number 4? We're going to skip Monday morning, Monday thoughts, and Monday mood, trending 4, 5, and 6, because whatever. Kevin Hayes is trending. Kevin Hayes is a National Hockey League player. The Rangers traded him to the Winnipeg Jets. Like I said in the past, I'm not the biggest hockey fan, so don't want to say I don't care, but, I just don't really care. Aaron Hicks. Where's Aaron Hicks going? New York Yankees and Aaron Hicks have agreed to a 7-year, $70 million extension. Oh, my God. Good Lord, baseball players get paid too much. But they play 180-something games, and they bring in crowds, and people still watch baseball. But good Lord, is this guy good? He must be. course, the Yankees as probably the most wealthy baseball organization there, or actually probably the most wealthy sports organization there is. So, you know, people like the Yankees and they can afford shit. All right, let's see. Oh gosh, here we go. Here we go. Breaking. Alva Johnson, a 2016 campaign staffer for Donald Trump, says the president kissed her without her consent in 2016. She attempted to avoid the kiss, causing Trump to land his lips on the side of her mouth. Oh, great. She is suing the president, claims he forcibly kissed her before a 2016 rally in Florida. When the predator happens to be one of the most powerful men in the world, the experience can be downright terrifying. Hey, guess what? You know what? He wasn't one of the most powerful men in the world at the time. He was a candidate. Good God. Women's March. Trump has a history of abusing women, viciously going after those who dare speak out. As a warning to other potential accusers, stay silent. He now has the power of the White House behind him. We will not let him use it to attack Alva Johnson. Trump grabbed a woman and forced himself on her? You mean like he says he does all the time? Because when you're a star, they let you do it. Good for Alva Johnson. You know, I don't know. You know what? It's amazing. It's amazing. The timing of this. Because this is the time when they say that the Mueller investigation is going to be presenting its findings within the next couple of weeks. I wonder how they chose to do this now. And you know what? If it's true, I don't know what that means. I guess we'll find out. We're going to find out. Alva Johnson, she's going to be trending, or she'll be trending for a while. She'll be trending she'll be trending nonstop over the next few days. I can almost guarantee that. Interesting. And if it's, if it's true, then you know what? She should call him out. If it's true, I'm not, absolutely she should call him out. But it's just weird how these things come up like they do. Let's see who Pam Bondi is. Don't know. That's the next trend. What? She's a two alleged let's see, what's this? Oh, okay. So Pam Bondi is a witness, apparently. Two alleged witnesses, Pam Bondi, then Florida Attorney General, and Karen Giorno, Trump campaign chief in Florida, also dispute Johnson's account. Okay, so they're disputing the account. Oh, interesting. I'm a prosecutor. If I saw something inappropriate, I would have said something, Bondi said. Trump campaign staffer says he gave her an unwanted kiss in the mouth before a Florida rally in 2016. I can still see his lip coming straight from my face, Alva Johnson told the Post. White House denies it happened with something there, but whatever. Now, this resist Trump person, Pam Bondi is not a credible witness to dispute Alva Johnson's account. She took a bribe from Trump to shut down her office's investigation into his phony criminal charity. Bondi is a hardcore sycophant. Well, what about the other one? Karen Giorno. Okay, I guess this is going to be the fight in the media over. I guarantee you, every hour, CNN and MSNBC will be reporting this, and probably no hours will Fox be doing it. So, because that's our corporate media. They have their side, and they're going to tell their side, and you probably won't see this on Fox, unless they're talking about, Fox will talk about Pam Bondi, MSNBC and CNN and CBS and ABC and the New York Times and the Washington Post and the Cleveland Plain Dealer and PBS and National Public Radio and all the rest will be talking about Alva Johnson. Y'all see what I did there? Anyway, Who else? Let's see. What else? Let's check out the last few trending things before I have to go. Alva Johnson, we already talked about her. We already talked about Pam Bondi. Andrew Barry. Okay, George Harrison's birthday. We didn't lose another Beatle. I'm not going to go into that one. Andrew Barry. Who's Andrew Barry? Do I care? Do I care? Oh, the Eagles have hired Andrew Barry as their vice president of football operations. Yippee skippy. Okay. Kako. Oh, what's going on with OPEC? Oh, yeah. Trump attacks OPEC over high oil price. Warning against high oil prices. Okay. U.S. President Donald Trump resumed his attacks on OPEC, saying the global economy is too fragile to handle a price hike and urging the cartel to relax and take it easy. Trump's war of words with the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries punctuated big price swings last year as he pressured the group to keep the taps open to help consumers. Futures in New York declined the most in 2 weeks on Monday. So, now that we are, again, the largest producer of oil in the world, we can have some effect on prices of oil. But, generally, they've been pretty steady for the last few years. And, surprisingly, in opposition to the thoughts of Paul Krugman, the economy's been pretty good, and so we'll just see what happens. I'm not going to worry about that. Just maybe want to bitch about something here. And then the last ones, I'm going to skip the rest for today because I got to get moving. Includes let's see. So what was this? I kind of missed there. Shorten that list. Fox will say he didn't. Everyone else will say he did. Yeah, that's pretty much. Well, there's always there's some conservative media, Breitbart, and who are the other? Well, there's a bunch of other ones, but it's gonna be one of those things. The most 98% of the corporate media will be all over Miss Johnson's story, and then I don't know how much you'll hear about it on Fox at all. So who knows? I guess we'll find out. Anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, that is my story for today. Apparently, I've had a few. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, just some people. Governor will sign bill aimed at bypassing. Bypassing the Electoral College. Yeah, no. Governor of Colorado. Okay, thanks, Sarah, for sending this. Awarding his state's electoral votes to the winner of the national popular vote. Well, if you want to give up your power as a state, I don't think you can do that, though. I'm not sure that's... I guess states can decide how they want to do it. It's not an undemocratic relic of the nation's past, you jackass. Okay, we're going to talk about that one tomorrow. Thanks for sending that to me. Well, remind me, Sarah, tomorrow to click your article. We're going to go through that. There's another bill in, where is it? In New Jersey, I think, that saying that presidential candidates would be required to make their tax returns public to run for office. Now that's an interesting one too, because that would take Trump off the ballot if it passed. But if I were any other politician, I would require it from all politicians. If you're going to require it from one, require it from all. But that's just my last little editorial thought of the day. Hey, Irish Rose, hello. I didn't see you there, but I know you tend to lurk. And Johnny Hellcat, I didn't see you either. Sorry, I wasn't ignoring you. I really wasn't. So anyway, that's it for today. I hope you had fun today. My name is Dawg Knight. This is the Morning Night Live. We're here Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, or 3 in the afternoon GMT time. Everything else you'll have to calculate from your own time zone. I really thank you for being here. This is a fun thing to do, and I'm going to keep doing it. So tomorrow we'll be here for episode 32 of the Morning Night. But until then, my name is Dawg Knight, and I am out of here.